we're both loving the resurgence that Dennis has shown in his game. I think he's going to be a megastar. But
Heck yeah.
Felix is in the final. He's playing Stefanos Tsitsipas, who has switched his racket and seemingly run the clock back to 2022, 2021, when Steph was one of the top players, a top 5 player in the sport. I think based off what I've seen in Dubai so far, I think Steph, he's like a minus 150 favorite against Felix.
You should be.
I think his forehand is the best shot on the court. I think he's regained a little bit of confidence in his backhand, and I think this racket switch has reignited confidence in Stefanos' game because me and Steph have had such a love-hate relationship through the years. I thought he was going to take the one-handed torch from Federer. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a lot of weight on his shoulders, and I understand his struggles. And he was like the prime, the one-hander's dead in the game. And I was always like, it's not really his backhand that's the issue. It's like losing confidence in his backhand translated to other parts of his game. And since he's switched to his new racket, his forehand has gotten better, his serve has gotten better, he's gotten more pops on his stroke, and that has translated to better confidence in his overall game, where people were so obvious to pick his backhand as like the scapegoat, because when he misses it, it looks really bad. Like he hits a heavy ball, a one-hander requires like perfect timing, so like the misses look worse. But where I thought Steph could be not the next Roger, but like maybe the next Roger, is because when he was like 20, I was like, oh, he's 6'4", incredibly athletic. He's got the movement, and he's got an absolutely elite forehand serve, and his backhand doesn't need to be the reason why he's a top 5 player. It was all other aspects of his game that were seemingly close to perfect, where I feel like he lost that confidence, and then people just viewed his backhand as the scapegoat for him not having success.
His backhand last year had the second most RPMs, only to Casper Ruud. So it's a super heavy shot, but maybe that comes with more heavy like weight on his timing. Like he has to time it just right. But regardless, I don't think that his new racket is what is making the difference. I think that's he needed a change, right? Any kind of change. Oh, I have this new racket, and then it opened the door for him to take get out of his mental state, and oh wow, new racket. Like he felt a little freer, and it feels like, whoa, like ever since I got this new racket, I'm hitting my backhand so much better, and it's like it's maybe it's the racket a little bit, but I think it's more just his renewed confidence and
like a mental
willingness.
Refresh,
Yes, he needed a mental refresh. Is right. So he looks great this tournament. FAA also looks great this tournament. I would call this a pick'em, absolutely. That both guys are on a resurgence, and both guys have top 10 tennis in them.
Oh yeah, we've seen it before.
So yeah, this, as you would say, this is like 2019 all over again, watching Tsitsipas and FAA in a final, right? But hey, let's get used to it. These guys
sign me up for this. This is straight popcorn.
Yeah, these guys are back at the top of the game where they belong.
And I think there has to be something with name value, with like the player surrounding, like the aura surrounding the player, like how, not even how famous they are, but just like the audience and everything around them. Like Felix and Steph are huge names in the sport. And I feel like tennis as an individual sport in general needs big stars. And these guys have potential to be big names in the sport. And that's why I was like, please, Felix and Steph win. Like, I don't want Felix versus Halys. I don't want
Mhm.
Steph to lose and Felix to play somebody else. Like, I want
Mhm.
Steph versus Felix. Like, that's what makes these finals so much fun. That's what draws the eyes. These big names playing each other. And that's what, when I first really started getting into tennis, I like watched the Australian Open, and then all of a sudden Rotterdam came around. I was like, wait, Felix versus Rublev in the semifinals, and then the winner plays Steph. Like, that's what made me fall in love with tennis. Is the top players in the sport. You don't always get to see them play each other at the slams based off the draw, but these other 500s, 1000s, that's when you get to see the variety of matchups. And that's what I think we were robbed of for so long was these top guys were losing early, or we didn't always get the best players playing in the quarterfinals, semifinals. You know, we tennis needs the biggest names to be playing their best tennis and playing each other. And that's what makes the sport so much fun to watch. And that's where it's like, oh my God, Carlos and Yannick are playing their best tennis. They're playing in a Grand Slam final. Like, that's what tennis needs, you know? We need all these guys playing their best tennis and playing against each other because that's what makes for the best matches. I think in this specific matchup, man, I
Well,
think,
it's fascinating. What, like, not to cut you off, but when the Dubai draw came out, I don't think a lot of people would have predicted Tsitsipas would play against FAA in the finals.
oh, no way.
So, you know, to your point, there were a lot of big names in this tournament and a lot of upsets. And somehow, what it is like Steph the 3 seed or 4 seed or something, and Felix was like the 6 seed.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sure
not
it's
sure,
something
to be
like that.
honest.
Same with last week in Doha, right? That Rublev took out Draper. It's like, what are the odds that those two like players would have made the finals in that? So, I don't know. Is like we're running simulations of what would happen in that tournament. A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of things could have happened differently, but yeah, I can't wait for Indian Wells next week. Obviously, the ante is upped a little bit when it's a 1,000, but 500s are fun too.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, amazing that Chapo just Dallas was a 500 and he won it. And this week, let's see if he can pull it out against Fokina. But regardless, like back to back, great 500 performances from him. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good to see. Felix all year has been looking really good.
Felix is low key number three in the ATP race right now. Like he has the third most points gained on tour this year. So that's only indicative on the tournaments he won. Obviously, he didn't have the best Australian Open, but these side tournaments matter. If you at this point
Well,
of the
Baez
tournament,
Baez is going to hang on to his top 30 status
so
strictly because he's being a clay merchant and just playing Faria, who congrats on making back-to-back quarterfinals. Faria, not the pride of Portugal because that's our boy Nuno Borges, but the second in command of Portuguese tennis. Good job,
I know.
Faria. But Baez is playing at that, and I guess Echeverry and Cerundolo, they're in the same boat because it makes sense geographically. I get it; they're already down there.
These tournaments hold weight. They also give them cushion when they get to Indian Wells. It doesn't put pressure on them to have a massive result because they've gained points leading up to it with this 500. So I'm super excited to see what Steph and Felix do in America on the Sunshine Double. Who do you think wins tomorrow in Dubai? Do you think Felix wins? Do you think Steph is just playing too well right now? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's a super tough one. Like, I think I'm gonna go Felix. Just seems a little more battle tested. Steph hasn't been in this situation for a while, seemingly, and I could be totally wrong. But as I said, it's a pick 'em. I'm just gonna go Felix.
Want to hear the craziest stat ever?
I'm ready.
Tsitsipas has made 11 ATP 500 finals. He's 0-11 in those
No
finals.
way.
I saw that stat today on Twitter, and I was like, that has to be fake.
That's the most
there's
Tsitsipas stat ever.
like such a selective stat where he's also made Grand Slam finals, but in ATP 500s for some reason he's 0-11. I was like,
I'm sure like 250s and thousands he has like a positive record.
yeah,
But
I'm not.
just the
Yeah, I mean
500s he
anything
just
at
can't do
Monte
it.
Carlo, he's done well, but I think tomorrow. I think he gets his first title. I think he beats Felix. I think his
Let's
forehand,
see it.
I think the way he's hitting his forehands right now is the best shot on the court. I don't trust Felix with a lead. I think Stefanos has shown improvements on return and getting way more balls back in play, where for so long it was so easy. He was like just not a threat to break. And then it was only a matter of time before he lost his confidence on serve. I think he's brimming with confidence. I think he's playing close to his best tennis. I thought maybe he could drop from 11 to like out of the top 15, but the way he's playing tennis right now, I think there's something with it where maybe it's the new racket, maybe it's the newfound confidence where I think he can find, and maybe this is just me willing it. I think I think he can find his best tennis. I think he's closer to a top 10 player right now than he is losing this final. And that's not
Let's
even an
see
indictment on
it.
Felix. I think they're both close. I hope it goes 3 sets and we get a blockbuster, but
Yeah.
I got Steph in 3.
Okay. I'm going Felix in 2.
Felix in
Just
2?
well, I had to. If
Yeah,
you're
you
going Steph
gotta.
in 3, then I'll go Felix in 2. Let's see who's right.
Yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
Felix can capitalize on Steph's backhand not being 100% and maybe like if he serves well. But yeah, I think Steph wins tomorrow, and I can't wait for Indian Wells, dude. We're gonna kill it, Indian Wells. We're gonna go
Oh
podcast
yeah,
galore. So don't forget to subscribe because we're gonna go all out for the 1000s. We don't mess
we will.
around when high stake tennis is around. We have a lot of fun during these. We can fantasize about these players all we want, but
I'd be shocked if Alcaraz doesn't win it. I'm
he's
just gonna
gonna win
say
it.
it. I'd be shocked if Alcaraz doesn't win Indian Wells, but we'll see what happens.
This is around the time where Carlitos starts to find form and prove why he is absolutely special and has 4 Grand Slams
It's just
below
his
the
best
age of.
tournament.
Yeah, he
Indian Wells is
actually
like the
is.
perfect surface for him.
Yeah,
Not that surface is everything, but I'd be very surprised if he doesn't find his best in tennis there. Right.
yeah. We have some good tennis. We have some good finals this weekend. I cannot wait for Indian Wells. This week in tennis is going to be hype. Right before March Madness starts, don't forget tennis is around the corner, and definitely must watch TV. And if you if you want to hear our thoughts, if you want to watch my road to Roger, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, listen to our thoughts, and I appreciate you guys all showing your support because we're gonna keep doing it. We love talking tennis, and it's been a great journey so far this year. Can't wait to keep talking some more with you, Jeremy.
Yeah, let's go FAA.
Yeah, I think Shapo just
Sorry,
pushed a
Titsy.
third because I took the over and someone in my Discord just commented a check mark to me, so I think he just pushed a third. So
I'm so gonna put that on right now.
Come on, Dennis, let's go!
Dennis.
Yeah. Come on,
All right, double falters. Peace out.
Don't let us down, Canadians. You have my entire tennis betting career, but not now.
That's the thing. I'm being faithful to our Canadians, our fellow North Americans here. Will, you're the one that I get it. Tsitsipas. I
That's
get it.
different.
It's
He's got
exciting
a
for
one hand.
him,
He's got a one-hander.
but I'm going Chapo. I'm going FAA. I'm all in on my Canadian folk.
I think, yeah. Love that. But let's see. That's the fun part. We got to watch these matches play out.
Let's get it.
Keep double faulting out there.